那下面我就要请出吴声老师来和博士来做个对话了，对吧？请他们两位来谈一谈，说在我们当下的这个商业环境里面，我们应该怎么更好的用影响力武器来适应我们这个越来越丰富的千变万化的商业场景，然后更好的去带动商业的进化。那好，那就有请吴声老师来提出您的问题吧。
好，谢谢韩岩老师，博士好。其实我们现在正是在中国热火朝天的双11的前夕，此时此刻，在亚利桑那州，我们这样一个被称为大峡谷之州的所在，一定是一片这样一种安谧祥和的清晨。我相信这样一种差异，其实意味着在平行时空的一种人情的一种同理心，能不能也展现给我们更多的一些读者和网友？其实，在刚才博士回答非常资深的一些这个读者他们提出的非常有见地的这些问题的时候，我一直在思考一个非常简单的问题。这个问题就是在于，当我们在谈论影响力是一个反求诸己、向内看的这样一个这个洞察路径和洞察方法论的时候，那么它的环境、它的场景如此的瞬息万变，它到底意味着这是一个包治百病的良药，是我们刚才提到的六脉神剑呢，还是说它作为一种解释的框架，需要更多的场景、更多的案例去重新完成一次它的一种这个影响力、这个 IP 的新生？对。我自己的感觉，博士刚才在回答的这种过程中，已经运用了或者说应用了和他这个30-40年前写作本书完全不一样的这个案例体系，乃至于这个知识体系。但是我们今天一直在思考影响力的本质，它并不仅仅是一个 knowledge， 对，而是 intelligence，它的本质是一种见识。它而不是简单的一种知识，对，所以其实我今天想请教这个博士的这个第一个问题，就是在于在这么长的时间里面，邀请博士就不管是咨询乃至于演讲的有客户知名企业非常多，包括刚才韩岩老师也特别提到了包括了像这种微软谷歌思科可口可乐、爱立信、IBM 奥美等等等等。那在这么多的500强企业里面，就是他们最希望从博士您这儿得到什么样的，或者说什么类型的建议？谢谢博士。
Yes, this is another excellent question. I have to say, these questions have been really good questions. I don't normally get such high quality questions, but here's another one. And here's what we have found from these large corporations or any kind of group that I speak to or do training in. Here's what they want from these principles. They don't want a university class in the psychology of influence. They want to know about the principles, and then they want to know what procedures or practices flow from those principles. What can we do to implement, to apply those principles, right? They want manageable procedures that flow from those principles that they can then implement next week in their organizations. Right? That's what they want most. And so in my presentations, in our trainings, we're very careful to say, we're not going to give you a college course in this where you just learn about the concepts. We're going to give you actionable steps to take. Now that you know these principles, how you behave differently when you face your managers or your clients or your customers or your colleagues, how do you behave differently now that you know about these principles? What steps can you take? That's the thing they want most, what they call takeaways, things they can take with them from the interaction that we've had to do something that will lead to better outcomes. That's one thing that they seem to want. And the other is, when we typically began to work with these corporations, they wanted our help to be so they would be more influential outside of their organization, that is with customers and clients and business partners and so on, in marketing and sales and advertising. How can we be more effective? And after they have done that and they see good results, they've come back to us and they've said, how do we influence inside our organization? How do we get all of our employees on the same page to be enthusiastic and to be motivated to move forward together with one another inside the organization? Because the profits of our organization depend as much on how influential the leaders can be inside as outside the organization. So those are the two things that have really stood out to me that these companies want. They want practical steps to take to make a difference. And then they want to move not just their customers and clients, they want to be able to convince and influence the people inside the organization to get together, to be cooperative and collaborative and move forward as a unit.
谢谢博士啊，就是我们能够感觉到非常的明显，就是影响力的教父仰望星空，500强的企业脚踏实地，他们希望让人看到谁说大象不能跳舞。
那我特别期待您的第二个问题。您第二个问题是什么呢？
我其实我自己本人就正好是这个韩岩老师刚才也提到了，我本人是一个中国我们说的是商业发展的一个观察者、研究者和实践者。
对，
所以我大量的一些问题其实与中国这个商业加速发展或者说这个复杂的一种背景是分不开的。中国商业其实有一个非常重要的突出的表现。其实我相信这个博士在更新这一版影响力的案例的时候，也多维的去提到了我们数字化的进程是特别的高歌猛进。
是的。
那么尤其是在这个互联网商业的从它的这种场景创新、模式创新有极大的这样一种多样性。所以我想问博士的一个问题就是在于面对互联网商业，那么影响力中哪些原则的应用会尤为突出？其实博士刚才也特别提到了这个电子商务的平台，一个 e-commerce。当然我们可能还有很多的一些电子商务之外的那种就是互联网的一些类型。我想听听博士关于这方面的一些见解。
It turns out there was a study done that asked that question. They looked at 6,700 e-commerce websites and their use of A/B tests, right, to see which factors that they could include on their site to move people into conversion, move them to say yes to whatever the request was, right? And they looked at 29 different factors, right? Some of them were economic, financial factors, like, is there free shipping offered? Some of them were technological. Is there a search function inside the site? Some of them were psychological. Is there a call to action at the end of every offer, right? Those kinds of things. Look at 29 of them. The top 6 were the principles of influence. Did they have scarcity? Did they have social proof? Did they have authority? Did they have liking? And so on, right? Now, of those top, the 3 that were most successful at getting conversions, the first was scarcity. That is, do I have something that's distinctive? Right? You were talking about this earlier as the importance of scarcity in the sense of making what is distinctive for you, that people can't get elsewhere. Making that at top of consciousness, right? That's exactly what they found. That those sites that said, here are things that are not widely available, they are dwindling in availability, there's only a certain number, or we have something that's unique that nobody else can provide, and so on. That was the top, right? After that, social proof. Look at all the people who are doing this. Look at our evidence of popularity. Look at the evidence of our number of star ratings that our previous clients and customers have given us, and so on. And then the third one was authority. What do the experts say about our products, our services, our ideas? What are the true authorities on the topic saying about this? Why would those three be at the top of everything? Each one of them reduces uncertainty. Each one of them causes people to say, oh, now I have good evidence that this is a good choice to make, and that this is the right time to make the choice. The principle of social proof says if all these other people are doing it, oh, I can reduce my uncertainty that this is a good choice for me too, right? If the authorities are saying that this is the right idea, this is the right offer, then I can reduce my uncertainty that this is the right thing for me to do too. And then scarcity, it says, oh, if this is dwindling or in availability, or if there's a unique thing here, this reduces my uncertainty that I should act now to get it. Just because you've been convinced that this is a good product or service or idea, that doesn't always translate into people acting. Right? Unless scarcity is in the situation, then people move. So what scarcity does is tell people, reduces their uncertainty. This is the time to act, right? The other two reduce uncertainty that this is a good product or service. Look, all the authorities are saying so. All my peers are saying so. So those are the top three that worked in online. Now, there was one that was difficult to get online, and that is liking, the liking principle. How do you get people to like you when you don't have the opportunity to meet them, right? And to show them a human side of you? And they found that there was one technique inside successful sites, commercial sites, that used the liking principle in a way that I thought was brilliant. It was to have a welcoming letter at the beginning of each site, so that when people came onto the site, there was a letter that invited them warmly into the site, the way you would if you met them in your business. Right, and they came in the door. Oh, so glad that you're here. We're happy to be able to help you. That welcoming letter had a significant impact on conversions. Something I don't see a lot of, but they were able to use the liking principle to do that. Yeah.
非常感谢博士的回答。其实 Facebook 的点赞现在已经改成了无穷号啊，但是我们可以看到此时此刻，就是我身边大量的这样一种就是同学、同事啊、朋友，他们都在直播间里面听着那一声疯狂的叫喊 ，Buy it, 买它。我相信这就刚才博士所特别提到的这样一种权威的一种原则。事实上，我也的确运用了影响力的模型去这个解构现在在中国非常流行的这个直播电商的一种现象。它不仅仅是中国非常典型的一种商业模式，在这个双11这个现在的一种周期热火朝天的一种过程中，我分明能感觉到我们对于稀缺只剩最后一件了。只剩现在，如果再不下单，就要再等明年双11了。你会发现，就是说，博士刚才反复所强调的这样一种原则，它能够这个几乎完美无缺的来解答我们今天的这个正在我们身边发生的这一些事实和现实。那么，我们甚至可以说，薇娅和李佳琦，当然博士可能不那么熟悉啊，这两个在这个中国我们称之为叫购物的权威的权威啊，权威的平方或者权威的立方啊，他们两个人可以在这个迅速的带货达到180亿，如果把它折算成美元的话，那也是这种就是
这除以6，
也是30多亿美金啊，也是30多亿美金。那么你可以发现，就是这样的一种主播啊，这样的主播，当然他也是可能是 Instagram 的博主，可能是 YouTube 的网红，可能在美国是金卡戴珊，是这个侃爷啊，是 Rihanna， 就是一个主播可以创造非常惊人的一种销售的一种规模和成绩。消费者因为对主播的这样一种信任的习惯，就是对权威的这样一种信任的习惯，在直播间去购物啊，我说的就是 now， 就是现在。那么，所以在直播这种场景里面，我想进一步的追问博士，您认为就是刚才我们提到的很多的武器，如果给它排一个序，就是这个权威，这个武器我们就不说了啊，因为这个主播肯定是权威，是吧？那么就是怎样去发挥作用？换句话来讲，就是商家这个起作用，认为这种影响怎么去组合是更有效的，而消费者去这样一种就是这个更加理性的来理解。这样一种就是直播电商怎样才是一个更加这个健康或者是这个科学的一种这个生活方式？我也听听博士在这方面的一个快速的想法。
You're exactly right that authority is very important. The perception of this person is knowledgeable on a particular topic, and this person is trustworthy. This is somebody I can trust because they have a lot of knowledge and they're trying to be honest in the presentation of this information, right? So that's very important, that combination. Authority, that is knowledge and trustworthiness, very important. But there's one other that I've seen, and it has to do with the liking principle. And with an interesting twist, it's not so much that they get the customers to like them, that's important, but they send the message that they like their customers. And people want to buy from those who like them, right? In the United States, we've had two political leaders, two presidents, Ronald Reagan and Bill Clinton, who were famous as orators, and they could make mistakes or there were problems, and they were called Teflon. That is, the mistakes just slid off of them. And both of them, even though they had very different political ideologies, both of them were famous for looking at an audience and having the audience say, oh, this person cares about me. This person likes me. And that was their success. So I think what you can get with these influencers, these live stream influencers, they send a message to the audience, I like you. I like my audience. I like the people who... Now, I'm going to give you one last example of this that shows me how powerful it is. And it's a personal example. It has to do with an experience I had a while ago. I have a granddaughter. Her name is Haley. She's the light of my life. We do everything together. We go to the library, we ride our books, we ride our bicycles together, we color pictures together, we do all kinds of things together. And when she was 3 years old, her mother asked her, "So Haley, who's your favorite person in the world?" And she named me. Now her mother said, "Really? Why? Why Grandpa?" And she didn't say what you think a 3-year-old would say, something circular like, "Well, he's my favorite because I like him so much." That's just saying the same thing twice, but that's what you would expect from a 3-year-old. Here's what she said. "He's my favorite because he likes me so much." I can't get any closer to the truth than that of the most powerful aspect of liking. We want to say yes to those people who like us because we know we're safe there with the people who like us, right? They're going to treat us well, right? And that doesn't just apply to grandchildren or granddaughters. This applies to every one of our customers, every one of our colleagues, and so on. We have to show them that we value them. And then what flows in return is a positive response.
非常感谢博士。博士刚才其实恰恰提到了我们今天商业世界一个非常普遍的一个运营的法则：你对用户好，用户会对你更好。你对用户好，要让用户能够感受得出来你对他的好。所以喜好这个法则在直播间，它的难度它并不是我们刚才提到的爷爷和孙女的1对1，它可能是总统对围观的这样一种1对1000、1对10000。就因为这个直播间的围观的人数是非常多的，但是恰恰就是在于他们的这样一种整体的人设，乃至于他们在直播间的一个运用影响力的这种武器，能够让所有的这种个体能感受到一种真实的被尊重。